Hi, this is the Premier Power Hour podcast. I'm Zach.
I'm Billy, and we've got Joe Cox with us today.
Hello.
Joe is the corporate resource director.
That's correct.
Did we get that right?
Do we want to touch on what that? I mean,
This year?
yes.
Oh,
10 words
yeah.
or less.
In the current format.
Well,
yeah.
in the current format, that would put me basically in charge of quality, and recently, as of last fall, safety, and previously before that, it would have been a lot of training. Basically, whenever a new site came on board, I was there to help with the process understanding, some training, business systems, things like that. It's evolved definitely in the 9 years that I've been in the position, but nonetheless, that's what we're doing today.
A lot of stuff. A big umbrella. And part of that reason, probably, that you have all of that responsibility. I mean, you've been here.
About 4 months?
You've been here for a long
Great.
time.
Newbie just like me. That's great.
That's right.
It's you.
I
Yeah.
feel super comfortable.
No, ironically, it was coming up on 26 years this fall. So October '95, I was in college. I was a junior. I just needed some beer and book money.
Yeah.
I met Kerry McKiernan a long time ago. He said, my brother-in-law and another fella and a couple of guys have a business that I'm working at. Why don't you come over and put in an application? The application was literally sitting down with Ben Blinko at the time, and he's like, "Hey, can you start today?" I'm like, "No, I got class today at 2, but I can be there tomorrow."
Nice.
So came the next day, and then really the rest is history. I've been here ever since. But as far as the first position or anything, it was general warehouse work. Ran a pot devin, which is basically putting labels on boxes. We did CD towers and what was it?
CDs like CD
Like
ROMs.
you remember when people used to buy
I do
store
remember that.
CDs
Yeah,
in the tower?
absolutely.
Yeah,
I had
so-
the
Did you
book
ever
with
have a
I had the
CD?
book.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
no, I was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
You
all
had
of mine
the-
were via LimeWire and Napster. They weren't actually from the artist. I think statute of limitation. I think I'm good on that
Yeah,
now.
here, nobody's-
But yeah, the
And
book. Yeah.
We'd also do Panasonic vacuum cleaners, all sorts of things like that. And then I migrated over to the slitter. So I became like the slitter guy, along with another fellow named Matt Issing. He and I would split shifts. He'd do the morning, he'd go to class, and I'd do the afternoon. I'd do class in the morning, that type of thing.
Can you describe what that is? Because I have no
A
idea.
slitter machine?
Yes.
So a slitter machine is a prep machine for your flexos, at least in those days. Now, the corrugators around that we use, pretty much everything comes in prepped. But you can make pads, you could prep sheets, cut them down. We didn't really have the buying power in those days to just buy sheets on custom sizes. So
Sure.
we would buy them in stock 60 sheets and cut them down into the sizes we needed to feed our 50-inch press, which if anyone's roamed the halls at 3900, there's actually a plaque down there that shows some parts of the 50-inch press. It was
Right.
like the first machine we had. But yeah, that was those were the early days.
Didn't look anything like this, right?
No.
Did you have?
This beautiful building? No.
Right.
No,
right.
it was in an old tobacco warehouse, a customs warehouse in the south side of town. I'll be nice and just say it was a very pleasant end of town. It's actually near the track, ironically, because that's beautiful, right? The Churchill Downs is just down the street from us. And so one of the early benefits working down there around Derby time was, you had to shut down and you were off work because you couldn't get in. Like, it was Central Avenue, people were partying, like you couldn't drive or anything. So
Charge for parking.
yeah, but we're in this old customs warehouse, and had shotgun holes in the side of the building. We're right near some, like I said, a not so good part of town. But it was an environment that, when you see where we came from to a place like this, and as I go around the country and see all these beautiful spaces that Premier's put up, it's just amazing. It really is what the path that Premier's been on.
So but you stuck with it, basically, right?
Yeah, I think I wore out one of the owners. His name was Dennis Blinko. He had become my supervisor after Chris when I went to the slitter. I was in there asking questions almost every day about, hey, is this going to be good enough for the customer? This is about 1/8 of an inch off, or I can't get the slitter to do this today, And so I think they kind of pegged me as, I won't say like getting on their nerves,
Right.
but this guy asks a lot of questions, right? A lot of probing questions. And so what I ended up being offered was to be the quality guy. And so when I graduated, obviously I had to start paying, school back, school loans, things like that. And so there's kind of a plan leading into that. I was going to do customer service, so I did that for about 6 months, get used to the accounts, understand the business system, things like that. But then went into quality, and there was no formal training.
Sure.
And so John actually, hooked me up with some good folks at the time at Box USA, which was one of our partners. He was still very much involved with Box USA, having been the sales manager there. Also went to customers like Jabil, a couple others around town, and I would meet with their quality people and kind of take the best parts of what they were doing at their locations and bring it back to Premier. And once again, no formal training. I just tried to put it together and make sense of how we could use their standards or some of their processes here. And sometimes I get kidded, but the NOC process stems from the early days of what I got out of Box USA, and it's still present today, even though it's probably been changed
A little bit,
the
yeah.
most of any process in our company, or at least thought about. So
I still have waking dreams about the NOC process.
NOC,
It's
yeah.
fun. It was,
NOC.
it's how we
New
kind of,
order checklist.
There
So
you go.
anytime
There
a
we
new
go.
item gets onboarded, it had to go through this somewhat bureaucratic process
Yeah.
of sign-offs
Yeah.
and things like that.
What us salespeople love, a checklist of things to do
slow it
after
down
we've
up
made,
front.
to
Yeah.
slow down
Yeah,
the
right.
process of
Exactly.
making
Sure, you're-
and
yeah.
completing a sale and getting that paycheck.
but you want it done right.
We do want it done right the first time.
Yep.
That's right. No stump toes out the door. That's what ops is there to say. Hey, we got to get all the answers in the questions.
I will say that the checklist now, as it exists as a newbie at this company, is much better than any other one that I've worked
And
at.
it should be. We've evolved, right?
Yeah.
We just like that old dingy warehouse to what we are today. Our processes have evolved. That's probably one of the things when I get in conversations with folks that are new to Premier, it's just that we've grown tremendously. We still have a lot to go, and we've matured over the last year, 2 years, 3 years more than we were the last 5 before that, and starting to really hire professionals and pros, bringing them into our business, and they bring some of the best in class of what they were doing in their other vocations to Premier, making us better ultimately. But we've definitely improved in almost every part of the company.
I think what's cool is in the time that I've been here, there's an openness to conversations regarding improvement that there isn't at other places. Another place you might get brought in and they say, look, this is how we've done it. I know, you might have done it different somewhere else, but this is how we do it, and this is how we're going to continue to do it. And I've given a ton of field research back to Adam Millette and Tyler Sublette, my managers, and every time it's been greeted with open arms, and there's that feeling of we care about making improvements, and we haven't figured everything out yet, so we're open to new ideas, which I think ultimately leads to the company that we have today.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that a lot of it is that there's a lot of committed people. There's been without the agendas, kind of what you're speaking to, not everywhere. I mean, there's always something, but for the most part, everyone's on the right seat on the bus. And,
Yeah,
and
for
they
sure.
know what their roles are supposed to be, and push forward with that. So.
And you've had you've played a huge role in hiring a lot of those people.
Yeah,
right?
actually, I hired you, Billy.
You did.
I did.
Still okay
here,
with it?
still loving it, right? What are you coming up on year 10?
10
Oh, wow,
this August, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think that's part of any business, but finding good quality people along the way. And another thing about Premier is they have an uncanny way of pushing you really hard, but at the same time patting you on the back as that hand leaves your shoulder. And so they reward for good hard work. And so for a message to anyone that's new to Premier or haven't only been working here for a short while is, hard work will pay off. I think in every part of our business that shows. Shows with the people that have stayed and how we have grown the tenure at every location. Look at some of the recent moves coming up, just some of our expansion and some of the places we're going. And we're going to be looking internally for a lot of those positions to fill. That's another cool thing. Even though we've brought in the pros and the outside hiring, we still want to look internally for those solutions up front.
For sure. For sure.
We'll do the proudest moment. I mean,
Yeah, let's.
you've
I
been
mean,
here
that's a
forever.
great.
I know
a
it's
great
not. I'm not
question.
going to ask you to just do
Yeah.
one, but what are some of the things that
Proudest
you
moment, there's a few. I would say, I've been blessed to be here early and be
like you get here early?
No. Like, I guess early on in the business. And
Punctual.
not always been the most punctual person, but just having been here in the early days, there was 15 people here when I started, and what's there, 800 or
Wow.
thereabouts? I don't know. It's hard to keep up, but I would say that being asked to go to Dallas, Texas, and open up the first satellite. We were actually for a company at that time. It was a sister company called Foam Core. So I went down really on a relationship we had with a local customer called Trillium Industries. And they did some refurb work for some computer monitors and things like that. And this was on the precipice of when the monitors were going from 60-pound, 80-pound, like desktop CRTs or CR, whatever they're called, to like, the flat panels, the big, beautiful flat panels that were coming out at $1,200, which now you can get for $200, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But that was the market we went down there for, and so I was stamping out foam, and so that was one. And another would have been, when I actually came back from Dallas. Obviously, I'm here. We had Dell, so Trillium had a big customer coming in. It was Dell, and we had to go through a big process quality audit. And we passed, I won't say with flying colors, but we passed and we got the business. But yeah, that was two events at least that I feel proud about.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
That's awesome. I think you've touched on this a little bit, but about kind of the skills that you've gained over the course of, or skills that you've developed over the course of your career here. Part of it, as you mentioned, you went to other competitors, other people that were doing similar thing and asking them, how do I become a better quality control person? Was there other things that you developed, or what skills, in my long worded question, other than quality control, what are some of the other skills that you've developed, and how did you get there?
Well, I would say that, the business software that we have here, I have a knack for being pretty good at that. The ASI Advancedware system, I've been a part of it since I moved into the office back in those early customer service days. And I was just a tinkerer. I was curious a lot, and I was like, what happens when you hit this button? And that led to, some events that they would put on.
That's when it locks up.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Now, I'm the reason for all the
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those wondering, that's not the way to do IT.
But nonetheless, like, I'm not that IT guy. Like,
Yeah.
I get confused sometimes. Like, well, Joe, like, I can maybe do my home network, but if you put me in that server room down the street or here, I'm like, no. But really, I had a thing, and I understood the business system that they had, and a lot of that was because I pushed for training. They would send us out to some of their client events, some user conferences. A couple times they were in Vegas, so that was cool. Go out there and be in a room during the entire day. But you got to see the nightlife. So.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that was early victory for me, because what it did is it gave me a really good sense and understanding of quote to cash in our company. All the inputs on the front side,
Sure.
and on how it rolls out the back, and all in between. And so because of that, I understood many of the different positions. And so very quickly, I'll try and just put this in a Cliff Notes version. Worked in customer service, quality, opened up a site down in Dallas. I was also inventory control manager. Did that for about 2 years, and then came up and ran customer service, and ironically, design. And when I'm not a design manager, I don't know how to do anything in the design software, but it's really about just kind of getting some organization around what was going on at the time. And, then that led me to this corporate resource position. So I've been in many different parts of the company. Never been really in accounting. Once again, I said early on, accounting wasn't my thing in college. Right. So, but my favorite things is, I guess, to say to people, I've done almost everything except sign paychecks. But the other skills that I've learned along the way is just management skills, leadership skills. the business acumen that's come
Yeah.
with just being here and being in conversations. Along with, how to handle, I guess, quality issues and maybe, I don't know, conflict management with customer service and what they have to do when you get hot customers on the other end. I've actually had some customers yell at me, and you're like, God, I mean, it's just, what are we talking about here? But, but nonetheless.
I went through boxes.
But
Yeah,
I push for training on a few things.
Yeah.
You've taught me everything I know, at least with advanced wear.
Early on.
and Early on, yeah. I
Yeah.
guess I've learned
I'm sure
a
you
few
could teach
things.
us about bin boxes, and we wouldn't.
Oh, we did that.
Oh,
on
we've
another-
done that. Yeah, we've done that.
We have beat bin
we have,
boxes.
we have
to death at
hammered
this
that
point.
home. Telling you what, if I don't get a couple leads from bin boxes
That's
out
right.
of this was not worth
Billy's got a couple up his sleeve, I'm sure, along the way. Like, hey,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
it. Miniature bin
I
boxes.
just remember a lot of, Billy, did you release the order? The order's not released.
That's
And I-
right.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good
did you
reports.
run this report, Billy? Did you run the OR too?
Yeah. Good times.
So you've kind of said this, and it mirrors what we've heard from other folks with these kind of interviews. But what is your suggestion or advice to those folks that are just now starting?
Work hard. I kind of mentioned it earlier that I believe Premier has been really good to not just myself, but to those individuals that, are committed. We're not saying, like, working 8 to 5 here or 9 to 5, whatever the term is, really isn't,
Right.
that's not this place.
Right.
But there's a leniency too, right? Like, you got to go to the dentist, or whatever. There's some understanding, I believe, at all management and supervisory levels. At least that's what I've seen. That, if this person's putting in the work, then there's leniency, right? There's going to be those points where, like, yeah, you need a, you got the personal issue at home. Man, you got to take care of that because that's the most important part of your life. But Premier's just been really good at that balance.
Yeah.
At least in my management style, and I'm not saying that I created it, so I had to pick it up from somewhere. It's what I've been a part of. It's what's been shared upon, maybe how I was managed myself. But just work hard and make sure that you also listen to your peers. You can get a lot of really good ideas from those around you. And some of the base questions are about, like, who's been a mentor and things like that. Latch on to someone also, whether it's your manager or could be someone else in another department. I'll just take this time to mention someone that was important to me was Ed Franconia. He was our first controller, and he really helped me cut my teeth on the ASI, like some of the system, let's say the admin side of the world, which once I learned that, I could understand how the behaviors of the software worked, which allowed me to train people and to really know when I hit this button what's going to happen down the road.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was part of our issue is, like, we have all this camp going on up here with this work, and they don't realize that they're creating 3 times as much work for this other department, right? And it's that domino effect through.
Yeah.
And so, you really just need to take advantage of where you can pick up skills and learn. And so you got to ask questions. You can't expect people to know that you're, wanting more. So there was a guy that I managed years ago. He said it very plainly. He said, "A closed mouth goes hungry." So if you're wanting to, I guess, make your career longer, better, whatever, you got to put in the effort up front to ask those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. As my manager told me, don't suffer in silence.
No, there's another good.
That's another one good. They're good at little quips here. I think this is
Yeah, it's good advice.
This
there.
is-
Close-
it
I
is.
remember that from our time together.
Yeah.
My manager tells me to stop calling him now. It's,
Is that- yeah.
No.
Don't mention them by name. That's not exactly the premier
blocking
way.
your number. Are we doing one today?
Oh, we
Are
gotta do one
Okay.
today.
We have this little shtick at the end of the show where it's called "What's in the Box."
Okay, great.
Okay,
Is
so-
this like going out to Bernheim Forest and you, like, feel something furry in there, and you're like, I don't know what that is.
That is not this game. At least not the,
I would like
not
I would
the
like it to be
iteration of
more
that.
like
That
Yeah.
might actually make you participate.
I
To
wanted,
Billy,
I wanted
it's a
air holes.
shtick.
That's
I
a
wanted
little
air holes in
scary.
the box. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping for.
Yeah, Billy was coming up with the
Metazoo.
idea. Yeah, is there going to be a turtle in the box?
Yeah.
My idea was more of like icebreakers, dad jokes, fun facts,
There you
stuff like
go.
that. What do we got here? So, we're going to see if Billy participates today.
Sometimes I refuse.
Sometimes he refuses to participate, and it's a real short segment. So today's segment of What's in the Box, sponsored by Premier Packaging. Let's see, what's the question we got today? So that's the question, but I'll come up with a different one.
Okay.
Beach or pool? You a beach or a pool guy?
Me? I'm going to go, at this part of my life,
Yeah.
pool.
Okay. You want to elaborate?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a middle-aged 45-year-old, don't have the physique of my 22-year-old body, so hiding in a pool or around a pool at, like, my sister's house is much easier on the
So you're
psyche
you're
than-
picking pool because then you'll be in the pool.
Or there's not a lot of people there, right?
So if you were at a private beach, if it was a private beach, maybe.
Oh, well, then,
you
yeah.
know.
I mean, there's nothing like going to
Well.
sitting in the sun, but, yeah, on the beach. But.
Okay.
I mean, I'd go beach probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pool. I don't know. I don't like pools.
You don't like pools?
No, I mean not if there's other people in the pools, and there's just not enough chlorine for me.
So you would prefer a high chlorine pool that only
It's
you
highly
go in?
chlorinated. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I was just gonna say we're putting a pool in our backyard, so if you ever
nice.
come to visit, I promise not to
I'll
go
tell
in
you
it.
what
I'll
he
leave
is
it
now.
all to
I'm
yourself.
staying at the Hilton. It doesn't matter.
I'm with this guy. I think I realized, and once I turned 30, I just was like, I don't. You kind of,
You
at
wanna be
least
in
for
a
me,
be in a Speedo on the
you
beach?
you just go. If I don't like this, I don't need to like
Right.
this. And
I'm-
for
I'm
me,
in charge of what
say,
my-
yeah, I can choose. I'm an adult now.
Right.
And a beach, I'm not the sand, the setup, it's almost like it's almost
I will
camping.
say that.
like,
That's a
it's-
good point.
It's a
when you
packing.
when you gotta walk like half a mile
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's the whole
Even
thing.
if you're on the beach, some of these beaches are long, right?
Yeah.
The one we stayed at in Florida was
They're wide.
forever, right? And you're like,
Yes.
I'm the dad, so I'm the pack mule. Right?
Yeah,
So I got
100%.
chick. Oh, I got to go back for the cooler.
Yep.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
that has wheels
guys
that's going to drag
enjoy,
to the
I'll
sand.
be-
Right,
So when I
exactly.
get there, they're like, Dad, you want to play? I'm like, no, not right now.
Well, and even if you park right at the beach, you're walking at least half a mile to
right.
find the spot.
Oh yeah. Or
No.
you have to be the early riser and be like the guy that's making the deal with the one putting out the umbrellas.
Yeah. Not today. Not me. Not this guy. I'm staying pool. Because there's also drink service. That's
Oh,
right
yeah,
by
that's
there.
true.
And that's
That's
what I
true.
But you know
No
what? There's
cooler
not enough
needed.
chlorine for you. Just
I
use,
don't know.
use the alcohol to
Yeah,
clean out
there
the
you go.
insides for
Kids
you.
in the pool? No, I'm just not doing it.
Anything else, Joe?
We covered a lot.
On Polar Beach.
On pool or beach? I can't think of anything
Just
else.
depends on where.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time.
Good talk
Yeah,
today.
it's been great.
That was good.
Thank you,
Let's do it
sir.
again.
That's
We
good.
probably will.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time,
Thank
see you later.
Do you have comments, questions, or ideas about this topic? If so, we'd like to hear from you. Please visit crimpack.com/podcast to let us know what you think. Thanks.